So I know a lot of you are doing your PhD interviews right now. I'm going to give you a quick tip for the why this institution question. So if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor for to help you out. That's actually a really easy one to solve in terms of figuring out why this institution. So what you have to do is actually read a couple of the articles that the lead scholars in the institution has actually published and figure out what's interesting with those particular questions. What you want to do is leverage off of their questions. So sometimes you don't know what those are. You don't know why the institution you're applying to, why it's interesting. Hopefully you figure that out before you went into your PhD interview and you've sort of done your groundwork. But if you haven't, what you want to do is read some of the lead scholars that are in the institution. It's usually a small group that you're applying to. So maybe it's a department or a research lab or something like that. And there's 2 or 3 people that are lead senior scholars in that group. So you'd want to read up on the senior scholars and just read the last, probably 2 articles that they've published to figure out what they are working on, what they're currently interested in, and then try to figure out where you fit. Why is that interesting for you? And what can you leverage? What is your knowledge that you currently have right now that you can leverage to aid them? So sometimes you have certain skills and certain assets that you can help them with to answer some questions. And you could just say, I read this article, I read your most recent article, thought it was very interesting. I'd like to help you out with this. Or you said this at the end of your most recent article. And I have this sort of technique that I think would apply and would work really nicely with what you're actually saying. So that would be a very amazing question. Very amazing. That would be a great question for you to leverage and for you to sort of talk about who you are, but also showing that you actually did your homework. You'd be surprised, almost everybody does not do their homework with this. And doesn't talk about this. And one other thing, you might actually interview with some of the more junior scholars, and you want to see what they're doing and talk about what they're doing. Or, if you want to take a, extra amazing step forward that nobody else is going to do, see what the PhD students are working on, because those are the projects that are that are in much more sort of novice form, and they're going to come out in maybe 3 or 4 years. So you want to see what the current PhD students are working on and talk about, well, that's really interesting what they're working on. I would love to sort of contribute to what they're working on. I've got this knowledge in this particular area. Maybe you have a understanding of programming, or maybe you have an understanding of some sort of theory that could leverage what they're doing, and talk about that. I think that would be an amazing question, an amazing answer that you would nail, and you do extremely well with that question. So good luck with your PhD interviews. I know a lot of you are doing those right now. And have fun with it. Enjoy it. You're really going to do well. We're really proud of you to get to this point. You actually had to do a lot of work, and don't ever downplay that. You are an amazing human being. So even if you don't get this position, don't worry about it. Just shrug it off. Go for the next one. Go for the next one, and go for the next one. That's what science is about. It's never ending. You always get rejections. Don't worry about that. And just know that you have to be proud of yourself, of who you actually are. And because there's a lot of people that are proud of you, and one of them is me. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.